Ever wondered why some people make recurring financial blunders? Or why you invested in that dubious stock? It's mystifying, isn't it? Well, sometimes it's not as complex as it may seem. The answers often lie not in comprehensive financial data or elaborate market reports. Instead, they are hidden in the crevices of our own psyche. The pattern of our decisions, the nature of our choices, and even the extent of our risks, all of these unveil the intricate domain of behavioral finance. The answer to these queries takes root not in numbers or reports, but deep within our minds, in the fascinating realm of behavioral finance. Consider the intriguing example of Mr. Smith, a seasoned investor boasting a varied portfolio. He's a financial veteran, well-versed in the ups and downs of the market. Yet, there was this one instance where he clung to an underperforming stock, baffling even the most seasoned market watchers. Despite numerous advice and indications to the contrary, he wouldn't budge. Mr. Smith's refusal to let go was puzzling. He watched the stock's value sink, yet he held on. His action bewildered many. The reason? A psychological phenomenon known as loss aversion. His fear of accepting a loss outweighed the logical choice to cut his losses and move on. Here's the tale of Miss Johnson, a young businesswoman who ventured into day trading. She held firm belief in her abilities to outperform market standards. In the world of finance, confidence is essential, but overconfidence can often lead to downfall. Sadly, she failed to consider the volatile nature of markets and overestimated her predictive skills. This miscalculation and disregard of potential risks caused an unexpected setback. Consequently, this financial blunder led to a considerable depletion of her savings. And who can forget the dot-com bubble of the late 90s? A time when the internet was still in its infancy, but the promises of a digital age fueled a speculative frenzy. Millions of investors, from Wall Street to individual households, wildly began purchasing tech stocks. Prices soared to astronomical levels, defying traditional market logic. This frenzy became a quintessential example of herd mentality in action. But like all speculative bubbles, it couldn't last. The bubble burst, resulting in a market crash, leading to significant financial devastation, causing substantial financial losses. Our friend Mr. Brown fell prey to anchoring bias. He purchased a share at $50, believing it a bargain. He viewed this price as a benchmark, a hopeful beacon for a future rebound. Despite its consistent downhill journey, he held on, steadfast. His focus, unwavering, remained on this purchase price. He held on to hope, a hope that it would climb back to its original glory. But he neglected one critical factor: the current market conditions, the live barometer of stock's actual worth. He clung to his initial purchase price as a reference point, hoping it would bounce back rather than considering the stock's current market conditions. Lastly, consider the case of Mrs. Green. She was a woman with a penchant for monetary affairs, a voracious consumer of financial news that perpetually validated her preconceived notions about her portfolio. This habit, a textbook example of confirmation bias, guided her through a meticulously selected assortment of reports and analyses. Her single-minded pursuit of affirming information made her disregard key indicators of potential problems. This selective approach, an embodiment of cognitive bias, caused her to overlook significant red flags related to her investments. These stories illustrate how cognitive and emotional biases can lead us astray in our financial decision-making. It's important to understand that our brains often rely on shortcuts or heuristics that can drastically impact our financial decisions. Many of these biases are deeply ingrained in our thought processes, subtly influencing the way we perceive and interact with the world. For instance, confirmation bias and loss aversion can cloud our judgment, causing us to ignore crucial information and make poor investment decisions. Conversely, understanding our biases can give us the tools to combat them. By recognizing these biases, we can challenge our preconceived notions and assumptions, forcing ourselves to consider all available information before making a decision. This not only leads to better financial decisions, but also to a deeper understanding of our own thought processes. Recognizing these biases can help us avoid such pitfalls, leading to more rational and informed choices. In summary, behavioral finance teaches us that we are not always the rational, profit-maximizing individuals that traditional economic theory assumes. This branch of finance studies the psychological influences on investor behavior. It looks at how emotions and cognitive errors often lead us to make financial decisions that are not in our best interest. Such biases include loss aversion, where people are more afraid of losses than they are attracted to gains. There's also overconfidence, where investors overestimate their knowledge and abilities, making them take unnecessary risks. Another bias is herd mentality, which causes people to follow the crowd, often leading to investment bubbles and crashes. Anchoring is another bias. We rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive. And then there's confirmation bias, which is our tendency to search for and favor information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory information. By acknowledging these biases and striving to mitigate their impact, we can aim to make better financial decisions, whether we are individual investors or financial professionals advising clients. Remember, the key to successful investing isn't just about understanding markets, it's also about understanding ourselves. It's not just the numbers, but how we react to them that matters. Our emotions and cognitive biases can cloud our judgment and lead us astray from our objectives. By keeping our emotions under control and steering clear of mental traps, we're better equipped to navigate the financial landscape. Clear thinking and emotional discipline enable us to make decisions that align with our long-term financial goals. In order to counteract the detrimental effects of our biases, it's vital to comprehend them and recognize their impact on our fiscal choices. This knowledge helps us grasp our emotional and cognitive blind spots, equipping us to minimize their repercussions. To do this, we can consult with finance experts, diversify our wealth distribution, or take time to pause and ponder on our choices prior to finalizing them. It's noteworthy that the aim isn't to completely eradicate these biases, a task that's unfeasible, but to administer them effectively. Our endeavor should be to deepen our understanding of our own biases. Being aware of these biases allows us to make sound, educated financial decisions that are in harmony with our long-term objectives. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate these biases, an impossible task, but to manage them effectively. The more we understand our own biases, the better equipped we are to make rational, informed financial decisions that align with our long-term goals.